Part 57. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 561. Among the three, Lin Feng is the oldest, so he is naturally the leader. The other two, on the left is a charming girl, the 17-year-old Qing Kong. Her face and figure are very similar to Zhu Xian. They are both delicate and charming, with red lips and sweet tongue that are particularly eye-catching. Zhang Zizai took a closer look and knew why she was similar to Zhu Xian, because her totem seemed to be a fox. Although she is only 17 years old, her figure is already very beautiful, with a protruding front and a curved back, full peaks, a snake-like waist and round long legs. Every move is full of attraction for young men. Although Lin Feng is strong, many people also focus on Qing Kong. After all, the difference between the three of them is only age. They are all of that age, the most outstanding people in the entire Zikan realm, no one else. Compared with Lin Feng's evil charm and Qing Kong's charm, the youngest Meng Suzu looks much simpler. He stands behind his senior brothers and sisters, well-behaved and natural, and is a gentle boy. When the three of them appeared, the strong men of Qingyang realm outside looked at each other in bewilderment. Even the eyes of the Fusion King, Palace Master, Clan King, and Hades were filled with helpless despair. The fusion shield was originally meant to protect people from fusing the source fusion, but I didn't expect it to be our doom. It's a pity for Zhang Zizai and the three of them. With their talent and courage, if they had a chance, they might be able to catch up with this group of geniuses from Zikan realm. After losing the source fusion, we will never be able to raise our heads again. One Zikan realm is enough to destroy 10 origin continents. The mood of despair spread almost throughout the world. One emperor palace, more than 30 people in the initial god realm, how could he dang be so powerful, how could he look up to them? Lin Feng had already noticed Zhang Zizai. Tang Qingming of the Emperor's Palace stood up and said, "Lin Feng, according to our previous agreement, the credit for the source talisman belongs to you. This man killed the fourth son of my Emperor's Palace. The elders asked me to take him back." Lin Feng looked at Zhang Zizai, suddenly smiled, and said, "No problem, leave it to you. After all, he is so handsome, you can make good use of his butt." Everyone laughed. This Lin Feng was indeed as frivolous as the legend said. Fifth senior brother, you are too bad. Qing Kong beside him smiled coquettishly and patted his shoulder. Senior brother, there are even worse ones. Do you want to taste them? Lin Feng threw her a coquettish look, making her face flush. Your confidant is at least 100 if not 80, and she is flirting with people everywhere. I don't want to join in the fun, Qing Kong muttered. Don't talk nonsense, keep a low profile, don't let too many people know about your senior brother's charm, Lin Feng said as he walked in front of Zhang Zizai as if no one was around. Everyone was looking at him nervously. The real boss finally arrived, and it was time to wrap up. Hey, brother, you are so lucky to have so many beauties. Lin Feng looked at Shen Xiao and Ling Xian and said in admiration. That's nothing, but I am surprised that you are so ugly and still have a confidant. Zhang Zizai smiled. In the face of the enemy, the strong men of the entire origin continent were all livid, but he was the only one who remained calm in the face of the wind and waves. And what he said made people tremble in their hearts. To be honest, although Lin Feng was not as handsome as him, he was definitely not ugly. That's right, after all, I attract beauties with my talent. Lin Feng was stunned for a moment, and then laughed heartily. What talent do you have? I bet you can't kill me today, Zhang Zizai said. Their conversation was tit for tat, and for a moment, the fierce atmosphere burned like a flame. Lin Feng narrowed his eyes slightly. Are you provoking me and want me to kill you to avoid suffering in the Emperor's Palace? He asked. No, I just think that you have no chance. No matter how many people come, it will be useless unless you fight me one-on-one, Zhang Zizai said. Fight me one-on-one, Lin Feng laughed dumbly. Everyone laughed. And the people outside thought Zhang Zizai was crazy. The source symbol is on your arm. Lin Feng turned around and laughed with everyone for a while, then looked at Zhang Zizai, his eyes on his palm. The source symbol was merging into it, so it was very obvious. Can you take it away? Zhang Zizai asked, and their eyes collided directly in the air. He's scared crazy. The geniuses behind Lin Feng were dumbfounded. He doesn't know Lin Feng's temper, poor guy. Sure enough, just when Zhang Zizai finished the sentence, Lin Feng laughed again. Okay, let you, a savage, see it? He is the 4th level of Tianyuan realm. In the origin continent, this is already the strength of a Holy Spirit servant. In other words, this 19-year-old boy is comparable to a Holy Spirit servant and a dragon guardian. That was completely the strength of an elder. This level of existence could easily crush the Divine Seal realm with one finger. Lin Feng moved. He appeared in front of Zhang Zizai in the blink of an eye, as fast as lightning. His aura was like countless mountains, suppressing Zhang Zizai. It is said that the strong men in the Tianyuan realm have the power beyond the power of the Totem Divine Seal, and can easily crush. Zhang Zizai did experience that this was a feeling equivalent to being powerless in front of the Holy Divine Servant. A short sword appeared in Lin Feng's hand. He suddenly appeared and pinched Zhang Zizai's palm with one hand. What's your name? While asking this question, Lin Feng used terrifying speed and suppressive aura to suppress Zhang Zizai to the point where he could not move. At the same time, he was so ruthless that he cut off Zhang Zizai's palm the moment he raised the knife and dropped it. Poof! Zhang Zizai's wrist was broken and blood spurted out. Everyone present could see it clearly. Behind him, Shen Xiao and Ling Xian looked at this scene, their eyes turned completely red. Ling Xian wanted to rush forward, but Shen Xiao desperately stopped him. This is fate. Facts have proved that in the face of absolute strength, all strategies are in vain. When I say cut off my hand, I will definitely cut off my hand. As soon as the palm was broken, the source talisman fell off. Lin Feng directly took the source talisman and put it into the space jade pendant. Under such circumstances, Zhang Zizai didn't even frown. People found it unbelievable that his willpower was so strong. My name is... Poof. Lin Feng directly used the dagger to pierce his heart. Forget it, I don't want to hear it anymore. Lin Feng said with a smile, then pulled out the short blade, and Zhang Zizai fell softly. Lin Feng. There was a roar from behind, and Tang Qingming stood up and said, I told you that his life was reserved for me, the Emperor's palace. You want it, I'll give it to you. Lin Feng smiled and threw the motionless Zhang Zizai to Tang Qingming. Tang Qingming dodged and let Zhang Zizai hit the ground. Everyone dodged because he was dead after all, so no one wanted to pay attention. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 562. Lin Feng. If you act so recklessly, I'll see how you'll explain to my elders. Tang Qingming's eyes burned with anger. He didn't expect this guy to be so lawless. Why am I acting so recklessly? This kid is sure that I can't kill him today, so I'll kill him to show him. Tell me, what kind of person am I, Lin Feng? He looks down on me like this, can I spare his life? Lin Feng said lightly. You. Tang Qingming, if you don't want to be beaten, just be honest. Lin Feng grinned. Tang Qingming could only shut up. Although he was very unhappy, the person was already dead, and he had no choice. Zhang Zizai was left there, and no one cared. Now their eyes were on Shen Xiao and Ling Xian. The two beauties hid together, their eyes were bloodshot, and I felt pity for them, but no one felt pity for them. Everyone knew that they had divine talismans on them. Xing Ai, Suxian, Xuanhuan, Xiaoyan and others all came for the divine talismans. Lin Feng, let's be frank. We have to compete fairly for the talismans, Suxian said. Don't think of taking the 2 talismans for yourself, Tang Qingming said. Yes, fair competition, it must be fair. But I promised my little brother before I came. Lin Feng pulled his 7th junior brother Meng Suzu over and said, this kid is pitiful. He is already 15 years old and has never touched a woman. He is too ugly and no one in Zikan realm can like him. Now he has finally met 2 beauties from this alien world. I decided to let my little brother have some fun and be a real man for a while. After he has had his fun, you can fight for the talismans. What about it? Meng Suzu's face was flushed. Xin Yi said, Lin Feng, it seems that you want to occupy the 2 talismans. After your junior brother has had his fun, you can get the talismans first. We don't allow you to touch them first. Yes, not allowed. Fair competition. Everyone shouted. The strong men outside looked at Zhang Zizai, shook their heads helplessly, and their faces were full of regret. And no one inside looked at Zhang Zizai anymore. Everyone looked at Shen Xiao and Ling Xian eagerly, wanting to get the divine talismans from them. As for their life or death, no one cared. Fair competition means you besiege the 3 of us, Lin Feng smiled, and his eyes suddenly became extremely cold. A vertical eye appeared at the center of his forehead. He actually has 3 eyes, or in other words, that is his totem. The universe-level totem, the totem of the eyes of the dead, the eyes of the gods, as a totem, it is the symbol of the Supreme. When this eye appeared, everyone else was half a point weaker. Let me tell you, I will not only get 2 divine talismans today, but also the source talisman. I am not going to give it to my elders. I will inherit it myself. This world is controlled by me. I ask you who can stop me and who can do anything to me. His eyes were blazing, and he looked down on everyone. What? Everyone was speechless. No one expected that he would have such a terrible idea. He didn't even want to hand over the source talisman, but wanted to take it all for himself. He wanted to control the world himself. Elders of Zizuyuan, do you know that you are so reckless? Tang Qingming asked in shock. My master told me to do this, so that I don't have to take it back and share it with you, haha. Lin Feng laughed. But he has the capital to laugh, because he is the strongest in the 1st level of the well of the divine realm. Many people combined are not his opponents, not to mention that he has Qing Kong and Meng Suzu by his side. I tell you, it's best to weigh your own capital. I'm not afraid of your siege, but who dares to touch me at this time, I, Lin Feng, will send you to hell directly. Don't think I'm joking. The value of a source talisman is worth sending you to hell. Even if it's you, Tang Qingming, or you, Suxian, you have to die, hee hee. Brother, don't be so fierce. Fighting and killing is not good. I think they will figure it out, Qing Kong said in a delicate voice. After they finished speaking, the faces of more than 40 people turned pale, but the fact was that none of them dared to stand up for the time being. Whoever stands up first will die first. Lin Feng's 3rd eye scanned everyone. The 3 of them turned around and headed towards Shen Xiao and Ling Xian. Brother, do you have to kill them? Meng Suzu asked nervously. They have completely become the masters of the magic talisman. Only when they die, the magic talisman will be ownerless. I heard that it can be inherited. Otherwise, take them back to Zizuyuan and let them inherit. There are too many variables in that way. Just kill them and be done with it. Do you like them? They are pretty. It's a pity to kill them. Lin Feng laughed dumbly and said, you have finally grown up. Very good. Otherwise, brother will help you arrange it and let you try it first. I think they are definitely still intact. Kill them after the matter is over? But with so many people watching, can you be tough? You are so bad, Qing Kong chuckled. Well, forget it, just kill them, I think it's a pity. Meng Suzu said regretfully. Give me the body, I'll refine 2 totem puppets for my junior brother to play with, Qing Kong said. I don't want it. Meng Suzu was horrified when she thought of her totem puppets. They were simply zombies. They were already standing in front of Shen Xiao and Ling Xian. When they spoke, they had already sentenced them to death. Kill them, their divine talismans have expired. I will directly inherit the source talisman. Aren't you afraid that they will mess around? Qing Kong looked at Tang Qingming and the others. Haha, these cowards wouldn't dare to do anything even if they had 10,000 guts. You guys help watch them and remind me if anything happens. This chapter is not finished yet. Please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. After Lin Feng finished speaking, he sat down cross-legged and began to take out the source talisman inheritance, while Meng Suzu and Qing Kong looked at each other. One was in the first level of Tianyuan realm and the other was in the second level of Tianyuan realm. It was just as easy for them to kill Shen Xiao and Ling Xian. Tang Qingming and the others really stood there, completely frightened by Lin Feng. At this moment, no one saw that the corpse behind them was actually wrapped in black air and stood up. He came back from the dead, like a demon crawling out of hell. Of course he came back to claim his life. He's back. The immortal talisman made him come back from the dead again, and even his palm grew out, intact. All this was calculated by Zhang Zizai. Only if Lin Feng kills him, he will have a chance to come back to life in a place where no one is paying attention, and then use the most terrifying lifeless talisman. If he uses the lifeless talisman directly, he will not have the opportunity to kill. Because everyone will pay attention to him at that time. Outside the fusion talisman shield, all the strong men are in despair, and they can see clearly that Zhang Zizai at this time is covered with black mist. He quietly gets up and approaches the last person. Those who stand at the end and dare not approach Lin Feng and others are the weakest. This is a young man in the 6th level of the Divine Seal realm. He looks at Shen Xiao and Ling Xian eagerly, which shows that he longs for the divine talisman. Facing Qing Kong and Meng Suzu killing people, he has only indifference in his eyes. The devil's eye turned into a sword in his hand. Zhang Zizai appeared behind him in an instant, and when he covered his mouth with one hand, the long sword passed through his body. The dead soul entered the body. At that moment, the power surged, like a magic elixir, and he felt refreshed for a while. The lifeless talisman is simply a weapon of the devil. His eyes were filled with thick black mist, and he came like the god of death. Then, the killing began. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 563. I know why he deliberately angered Lin Feng. For this moment, he can quietly use the Wuxian talisman when no one is paying attention. He has the immortal talisman and is not afraid of death at all. After the first person died, he was absorbed by the Wuxian talisman and turned into a dead soul, entangled next to the Wuxian talisman. The appearance of the dead soul is the same as when he was alive. He seems to be conscious and looks at everything around him in horror. Zhang Zizai's movements were very light. No one noticed the death of one person. Everyone else was still looking at Meng Suzu nervously, wondering if they had a chance to compete for the two magic talismans. In the fusion talisman shield, a ghostly figure appeared behind another person, silently. In the black mist, a pair of black eyes showed complex totem patterns, as if a poisonous snake was hiding in it. Puff. The second person was killed by the long sword. Next to the Wuxian talisman, a second dead soul condensed. Meng Suzu, didn't you say you wanted to perform live? Now is a good opportunity, we are all watching. Someone suddenly laughed. So many people immediately started to make a noise. Come on, let us see your skills. The men laughed, but there were women here. They were a little depressed, but compared to letting Meng Suzu kill people directly, this method might delay a little time and add some changes. So, although they didn't want to watch, they didn't say it. There are so many of us, we don't have to be afraid of Lin Feng and the other three, but we are afraid that Lin Feng will kill us when we stand out, so no one dares to stand out. If we can create an opportunity, everyone can work together and compete for the talisman. The geniuses of Zikan realm all looked at Shen Xiao and Ling Xian, each with their own ulterior motives. They didn't notice that the totem warriors behind them suddenly fell down one by one, and Zhang Zizai's choice every time was the least noticeable person. They were so obsessed with the talisman that until now, they didn't even notice a black shadow, and now there are 7 dead souls condensed on his body. Most of these 7 dead souls were at the 7th level of the Divine Seal realm. The dead souls stimulated the power of the Wuxian talisman and poured into the Wuxian demon body. The Wuxian magic power in Zhang Zizai's body became more and more powerful, and had long surpassed the power of his own totem Divine Seal. Zhang Zizai's eyes were extremely cold. Shen Xiao was right. There was no morality in war. If he did not fight back today, the 3 of them would die. Shen Xiao and Ling Xian were already in danger. Kindness to the enemy was cruelty to oneself. Everything gathered in his heart, and there was only one word, that was killing. Let you try to enslave our homeland. Let you treat our lives as cheap lives. Let you laugh and mock, and be high and mighty. These more than 40 people, without exception. In a blink of an eye, only 30 people were alive, because his speed was very fast. In almost a short period of time, 10 dead souls had gathered around him, as if there were 10 people following him at any time. The endless Wuxian magic power had long surpassed the power of his body. After the 10 dead souls condensed in his body, his strength has surged unprecedentedly. The lifeless talisman is a nightmare for all living beings. Kill. The surging murderous intent was like the surging sea. Only Shen Xiao and Ling Xian faced him. They had known that Zhang Zizai would do this, so they were not sad when Zhang Zizai died. The reason why they didn't die was because Qing Kong was still teasing Meng Suzu. Junior brother, you should be open-minded when you are a person. Do whatever you think. Don't worry, there is a tent in the space jade pendant of senior sister, and people outside can't see it at all. Senior sister, don't say anything, just kill it, Meng Suzu said embarrassedly. Tisk tisk, you are not manly enough. Men should be more decisive, Qing Kong laughed. Meng Suzu looked at Shen Xiao and Ling Xian more. The appearance and temperament of these 2 people really compared the female geniuses of Zikan realm. It would be a pity to kill them like this, so Meng Suzu was still hesitating. Tent. This thing really made his heart hot. He stared at Shen Xiao and Ling Xian. Suddenly, in Shen Xiao's eyes, he saw a figure, a dark figure, moving ghostly among the crowd. Who? Meng Suzu was shocked, he knew that this was what Shen Xiao saw. He turned around quickly and saw a dark figure there. The figure was shrouded in fog, he couldn't see his appearance clearly, but he could see that he was killing. 10 bodies had fallen on the ground. Be careful, Meng Suzu reminded. What? Everyone saw his horrified eyes and realized that there was someone behind him. It was not until this time that they found Zhang Zizai. They didn't see clearly who this person covered by thick black fog was. Disperse, Tang Qingming shouted loudly. They were too absorbed just now. It was only then that they saw so many people dead. It was really creepy. Who are you? Everyone distanced themselves from Zhang Zizai and asked in horror. In response to him, Zhang Zizai attacked. The totem weapon in his hand was replaced with a black stick. The black stick, which was surrounded by black mist and covered with blood-colored patterns, was very suitable for him now. It looked like a demonic aura. Almost all the 7th level Divine Seal realm people died. Now Zhang Zizai has locked onto the 8th level of the Divine Seal realm. That person is a disciple of the Emperor's palace. When he couldn't dodge in time, Zhang Zizai killed him with a stick. People clearly saw that the dead man rolled out thick black fog, forming a dead soul, which was absorbed by the lifeless talisman, leaving behind a pale corpse without a soul. And Zhang Zizai's lifeless magic power expanded fiercely. He felt that after absorbing the dead soul of the 8th level of the Divine Seal realm, his lethality reached an unprecedented peak. That is, the most terrifying divine talisman in the legend, the lifeless talisman. He actually has the lifeless talisman on him. Who is he? Where did he come from? From the well of the divine realm. Until now, no one has guessed that this person is actually Zhang Zizai. Among the divine talismans in the totem world, the lifeless talisman is the most terrifying one. I haven't heard of the lifeless talisman coming out for a long time. How did this person get the lifeless talisman? Xin Yi's face was gloomy. I don't know, but he obviously wants to kill us. If we don't stop him, it will be troublesome. We can't let him kill. As far as I know, the value of the Wuxian talisman is higher than the Divine Fire talisman and the Blood Prison talisman combined. Much higher, the Wuxian talisman has infinite possibilities, and has cultivated many murderous demons. They are all knowledgeable and know the importance of the Wuxian talisman. In their eyes, it seems that the temptation of the Wuxian talisman exceeds their fear of Zhang Zizai at this time. For a moment, their eyes turned red. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 564. You come to deal with them, whatever you want to do, just get the Divine Fire talisman and the Blood Prison talisman. I'll go grab the lifeless talisman. Qing Kong was also jealous, and hurriedly said to Meng Suzu. Should I tell my senior brother? Meng Suzu asked. No, it's important that he controls the source talisman, Qing Kong said. Lin Feng was concentrating on studying the source talisman in the corner. The source talisman can bring a god-level totem, which is the most precious. So Qing Kong said this with selfish motives. She wanted to get the lifeless talisman, but she knew that if Lin Feng interfered, she might not succeed. Here's the tent. Let this woman from another world see the wildness of our men in the Purple Star realm. Qing Kong laughed and threw him a spherical tent. It was a totem magic weapon, equivalent to a shield. After being sold by Qing Kong, Meng Suzu, who was struggling, didn't know whether he should tell Lin Feng about the lifeless talisman. Forget it, no one is leaving anyway, and everything about this fusion shield is under the control of senior brother. He looked at the tent in front of him, then at Shen Xiao and Ling Xian. His eyes were a little hot. You will die eventually, Meng Suzu said. You will die eventually too, Shen Xiao said. Aren't you afraid that I will invade you? Meng Suzu said. You are just a little brat, do you have the ability to do that? Shen Xiao laughed sarcastically. You, Meng Suzu was enraged, and his animal nature broke out little by little. He felt that if he didn't show some expression when being looked down upon, he would not be himself. Go in, he opened the tent. It was called a tent, but it was actually a prison. Meng Suzu took action. As a peerless genius of the first level of Tianyuan realm, he directly transformed himself into two huge purple palms with his own power. Before Shen Xiao and Ling Xian could react, he grabbed them and threw them in. He didn't rush in, but looked outside. When he saw that everyone was besieging Zhang Zizai and wanted to get his Wuxian talisman, and no one noticed him, his eyes gradually became hot. He struggled and finally walked in. Zhang Zizai had seen all this. A cold smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Just as a group of people swarmed towards him, including the Tianyuan realm masters, he changed instantly. Whoosh! 100 identical Zhang Zizai appeared at the same time, and each of them was surrounded by black mist. These 100 people were much more than 30 people, and each of them was so real. The totems that brought the clones were all top-notch. At this time, Zhang Zizai filled the entire fusion shield. It's a clone. Which one is the real him? When people were a little confused, the killing started again. Since they couldn't tell which one was the real body, they could only rely on luck to kill it. With their strength, it was not difficult to kill Zhang Zizai's clone. After all, they were all strong. Ah, at this moment, someone's head exploded, and he screamed and fell to the ground softly, no longer able to make a sound. However, the murderer was nowhere to be found, and there were several Zhang Zizai around him. Xuanhuan, Xinyi of the Zinc Sword sect screamed in pain. It was his younger brother who died. You're dead. As soon as Xinyi's roar fell, another young man was killed by a stick. The stick of the Black Shadow was fierce and accurate, and anyone who was hit was killed instantly. Zhang Zia wandered among the crowd, relying on the cover of his clone. Now, the dead souls on his body were densely packed. The power of his body was so powerful that he could hardly control it, and it even affected his mind, leaving him with only killing in his mind. Especially after Meng Suzu brought Shen Xiao and Ling Xian into the tent. He was murderous, holding a black stick, wandering among the crowd with the 8-step soul chasing lightning, and using the 5 elements demon subduing stick to collect lives and extract dead souls. If you want me to die, taste the taste of death first. You are arrogant and proud, thinking that you are from the civilized world, calling us the barbaric world, but you are doing the most barbaric things. In this case, let me show you what real barbarism is. You think you can control the lives of others and enslave us. Now, let you taste the taste of your own dead soul being enslaved. There is a saying called karma. Since you regard my life as worthless, I will also regard your life as ants. Do you think this is the end? No, now is just the beginning. Zhang Zizai said a lot of words. His voice and his actions finally woke Tang Qingming up. He is the man Lin Feng killed just now. He is not dead. He is not dead. Resurrected from the dead. This means that he not only has the Wuxian talisman, but also the immortal talisman. Oh my God, it is the first combination of the divine talismans, the Wuxian talisman and the immortal talisman. After guessing Zhang Zizai's identity, they were not afraid, but became more fanatical. Everyone looked at Zhang Zizai like crazy. In their eyes, Zhang Zizai was not a nightmare, but a sweet commodity. Everyone looked at him with red eyes. Now, his value is much higher than that of Shen Xiao and Ling Xian. Tang Qingming and his friends were so excited that they had long forgotten the two women. Snatching the Wuxian talisman and the immortal talisman is the greatest fortune in this life. Kill him and take the divine talisman. With these two divine talismans, there will be unlimited fortune within 1,000 years. Wuxian, immortal, comparable to the source talisman. When Zhang Zizai was crazy, he didn't expect them to be even crazier. Everyone wanted to kill him. This was just right. His conscience was completely put down. Now there was no guilt for killing. Some killing in the world was just for survival. He couldn't let down the people of the entire origin continent. He couldn't let his hometown become a place of slavery for others, including the great Zhongqing city. He couldn't let his good friend be insulted by the beasts of the Purple Star realm. In this case, although I am dead and reborn, I will make you all dead souls of the Wuxian talisman for the rest of your lives, and you will never be reborn. Most of his clones were still swept away. Every time he killed a person, he became more powerful. Under his killing, the geniuses of the Divine Seal realm gradually became like paper troubles in front of him. And Qing Kong, Tang Qingming, and others couldn't touch him for the time being. Zhang Zizai didn't fight them head-on. Until this time, he killed the geniuses of the 9th level of the Divine Seal realm as easily as cutting melons and vegetables. People may only realize at this time that the devil's wings have grown full. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 565. None of them had expected that under the protection of Zhang Zizai's clone, the geniuses of the Divine Seal realm would die so quickly. Most of the geniuses of the entire Zikan realm gathered here. But at this moment, when they found that the geniuses of the Divine Seal realm were almost slaughtered, the dream of the immortal talisman finally woke up a little. Looking at the young corpses around, Qing Kong, Tang Qingming and others couldn't help swallowing their saliva, and their faces began to turn pale. There are still 7 or 8 divine seal realms left, all of which are the result of their protection. This time, the Zikan realm has suffered heavy losses. Tang Qingming can only say that fortunately most of them are from his Tianhuang palace. So far, the 4 sons of heaven have suffered the most losses in the Tianhuang palace. But since this is the case, my heart is bleeding. We can't let him kill anymore. Let's kill him first, and then compete fairly for the immortal talisman and the immortal talisman, Qing Kong said. No problem. Kill. The super geniuses of their Tianyuan realm worked together, and there were several Tianyuan realm second-level geniuses among them. If it weren't for the Wuxian talisman, any one of them could defeat Zhang Zizai. But now the situation is different. Those people were frantically killing Zhang Zizai's clones, so that he could show his true body and compete for the Wuxian talisman. What they didn't notice was that at this moment, a black shadow quietly appeared next to the tent. Puff! The black shadow tore the tent apart with a sword. Inside the tent, Meng Suzu was tying the sisters together and was about to undress them. At this tense moment, his face flushed. As a novice, his hands were still shaking, but at this moment, the tent suddenly split open, and his ugly appearance was immediately revealed. Meng Suzu was exposed in front of everyone. He was very angry, and countless thunder and lightning instantly rose from his eyes. For a time, countless purple thunders entangled him. His totem is a universe-level totem, named Million Thunder Snake Totem. He can condense millions of thunder snakes around him. Looking for death, the mood that was destroyed at this time made him furious. Oh, are you going to violate them? Zhang Zizai's eyes were as cold as a ghost, and he pierced Meng Suzu's eyes like a sword. What does it have to do with you? Get out! Meng Suzu swept away, and endless thunders swarmed towards Zhang Zizai. The countless thunder snakes condensed into a big snake, fierce and brutal. You have the heart of a thief but not the courage of a thief. You are still the first genius. To treat a beauty in this way is the lowest and most shameless performance. A despicable person is destined to have such a short life. Zhang Zizai disappeared in an instant and avoided the thunder, but his voice made Meng Suzu angry. Looking for death, he jumped up and was about to chase. Suddenly, a chain wrapped around his body from behind. It was the magic chain. Shen Xiao had not taken action until he was extremely angry and almost lost his mind. The magic chain really wrapped around him. Meng Suzu turned back with red eyes. Just when he was about to break the magic chain, a figure suddenly hit him. This is the trick of the 8-step soul chasing lightning. When the opponent has thunder on his body, Zhang Zizai can directly hit him. At the moment of impact, the 5 elements demon subduing stick hit Meng Suzu 5 times in a row. He realized the coming of danger, and all the lightning snakes on his body formed a shield, but after all, it was in a hurry, and Zhang Zizai also had the power of more than 20 dead souls. The 5th stick directly broke through the defense and hit him on the back of the head. Bang! Meng Suzu screamed, but he didn't die. Puff! While he was roaring, a blood-colored spike pierced through his chest, making him sluggish for a moment, and then his majestic dead soul had been absorbed by Zhang Zizai. In the midst of astonishment, the body fell directly. The first genius of the Purple Star realm finally died under Lingxuan's vermilion bird thorn. He was a sensation in the Zikan realm, but now in Zhang Zizai's Wuxian talisman, he was just a dead soul, and could only cry endlessly. What else could he do? Are you okay? Zhang Zizai was still rational. There were countless wronged souls around him, but he looked at the 2 women with a smile. What could happen? This little brat dared to touch me. I'm covered with holy dragon armor. How could he touch me? Shen Xiao said with disdain. With the holy dragon armor, it would not be easy to violate her. Lingxian was even more useless. In the transformed state, her body was covered with spikes. It was uncertain who would stab whom. Seeing that they were safe, Zhang Zizai was relieved. He held a beauty in one hand and left the side in an instant, putting them in the corner of the fusion talisman shield. When he stood up again, his clones had been killed, and the remaining Tianyuan realm masters all stood in front of him. You killed Meng Suzu. You are really crazy. Tang Qingming was stunned. He is my master's son. You have done something earth-shattering. It is hard to imagine what your fate will be. Qing Kong was not hurt by the death of her junior brother. She was just shocked. No matter how miserable my fate is, will it be worse than being a dead soul here in the Wushanfu? Zhang Zizai grabbed Meng Suzu's screaming dead soul and played with it in his palm. Meng Suzu was screaming and crying all the time, but Zhang Zizai lowered his head and smiled at them, and said softly, "Have you thought it through? Keep going, you will all be him." Tang Qingming made them shudder. However, this could not stop their determination to kill Zhang Zizai. The rest of them went straight up without saying anything. They were indeed powerful, but after Zhang Zizai had the dead soul of the Tianyuan realm, his lifeless magic power soared again. The more he killed, the more he reached the point of death. He placed Shen Xiao and Ling Xian, then picked up the black stick, one stick for each, and the demonic shadow was surging, and he went straight up to kill. His evolution source has demons and shadows. The dragon shadow clone had been killed, and at this moment, Zhang Zizai performed the dragon demon transformation. For the first time, black dragon scales appeared on his body. His transformation was very similar to Ling Xian, composed entirely of bone spurs and dragon scales, and a dragon tail like an iron whip. The only difference from Ling Xian was that his color was black, not blood. Kill. After the dragon demon transformation, he became a killing machine. The word kill and the coldness contained in the voice made the strong men outside tremble in their hearts. That was the arrival of the god of death. Dragon scales, bone spurs, black sticks, lightning, flames, cold tides, all gathered together. Under one stick, life is death. Zhang Zizai dodged many fatal threats with the 8-step soul chasing lightning. The remaining divine seal realm were simply hit one by one. In a blink of an eye, only 7 people were left in this fusion shield, all of them were in the heavenly source realm. The others were all dead souls. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 566. The remaining few are all young and powerful figures in the Purple Star realm. They have all made a great name for themselves in the well of the divine domain. Qing Kong, the second level of the Tianyuan realm, has the universe-level totem Sky Fox Totem of all living beings, and walks the world with the fox charm technique, claiming that all living beings are confused. Tang Qingming, the second level of the Tianyuan realm, has the universe-level totem Tianming Qinglong Totem. Xin Yi, the second level of the Tianyuan realm, has the universe-level totem 3000 Star Rivers Holy Sword Totem. Suxian, the second level of the Tianyuan realm, has the universe-level totem Endless 10,000 Symbols Totem. The remaining 2, Xuanhuan and Xiaoyan, are a little worse, but they are also the first level of the Tianyuan realm and have the universe-level totem. Together with Lin Feng, the fourth level of the Tianyuan realm, they are the most powerful forces in the Purple Star realm, walking in the first level of the Well of the Divine Domain. Almost most of the geniuses of the Purple Star realm are gathered here. Now that there are heavy casualties, the future of the Purple Star realm can be said to have suffered a heavy blow. But even so, it couldn't stop the rest of the people from wanting the lifeless talisman, the immortal talisman, the divine fire talisman, and the beast taming talisman. Lin Feng was too arrogant. In order not to be disturbed by the outside voices, he directly closed the sound, because he knew that if there was really trouble, Qing Kong and Meng Suzu would notify him. He didn't expect that Qing Kong hadn't notified him until now in order to get the divine talisman. Everyone is selfish. They don't care how many people died, they only care whether they can get the divine talisman that can make them soar into the sky. Time is fleeting. When Zhang Zizai was constantly transferred while being bombarded by them, when they formed competition with each other, no one was willing to let Lin Feng, the strongest, join the battle. They were already bloodthirsty. But they found that Zhang Zizai was no longer so easy to deal with. He was constantly getting stronger, possessed terrible lifeless magic, and had an erratic body method, transferring around everyone. Buzz. When everyone was about to catch up with Zhang Zizai, he used the 8-step soul-chasing lightning to hit a woman in the blink of an eye. The woman was Xuanhuan, who was at the first level of the Tianyuan realm. Xuanhuan rarely got close to him, so she immediately swung her long sword and pierced through. When she started, the world was covered with ice and snow, and the ice swept across. Countless ice arrows condensed out of thin air. Her swordsmanship had a terrible will that made her more in tune with the world and show a stronger lethality. But now Zhang Zizai only had brutal power. He descended like a devil, breaking countless ice seals with one stick. The lifeless talisman is mine, Xuanhuan bit her red lips and attacked again. At the moment of attack, every move was a killing move, intending to pierce Zhang Zizai. Ding ding ding. All those ice arrows pierced Zhang Zizai's body. When she thought Zhang Zizai would be riddled with holes, the black dragon scales on his body actually just exploded, and the real lethality did not penetrate him. Instead, at this time, Zhang Zizai had already killed her in front of her. Bang bang bang. After 3 consecutive blows, Xuanhuan fell down with blood spurting out. His body quickly dimmed. He had become a dead soul and was absorbed by Zhang Zizai again. Go to hell to get it. Zhang Zizai swept past him, and there was one less opponent. The next target, Xuanhuan. This is his hunting ground. He killed people and left dim corpses. Xuanhuan had already realized the coming of the crisis. He knew very well that Zhang Zizai's next target was him, so he hurried to escape to the gate of the domain. But he didn't expect that he would become stronger with every kill. When Xuanhuan, who was in the Tianyuan realm, died in front of him, the Tianyuan realm was no longer mysterious in front of Zhang Zizai. You are not qualified to kill me. I didn't do anything to you. You will be punished by heaven for killing innocent people. Xuanhuan fled urgently, cursing in his heart. In fact, others had a chance to save him, but in this moment of lightning and fire, as long as they had a little selfishness and wanted to reduce a few competitors, Zhang Zizai would reap the benefits. I have my own will. Everything I did today is what I want. If God thinks I am wrong, then what's wrong with being punished by God? You can bear the punishment, but you must die. Zhang Zizai appeared in front of him like the god of death. The stick was as fast as lightning, tearing the air, entangled with countless thunders, and directly hit Xuanhuan. Xuanhuan spurted blood and flew back. Zhang Zizai appeared in front of him and added another sword, killing him on the spot. Dead souls entered the body. At that moment, the lifeless magic power in his body surged again. After killing so many people, his body was full of dead souls. He had to collect every dead soul. If not, he would not be able to deal with these invaders. Everything he did was for survival and for protection. Not to protect the strong outside, but only to protect himself, his relatives, his great Zhongqing city, and the 2 girls with rough fates behind him. If you don't kill him, it will be troublesome. Let's go together. Kill people first, then compete for the talisman. You must kill him first, Tang Qingming yelled one after another. Then let's go together. No one is allowed to hide, Qing Kong said in a delicate voice. She glanced at Lin Feng, who hadn't noticed the movement here yet. She still had a chance. As for the corpses all over the ground, she was too lazy to look at them anymore. Maybe the Zikan realm would be sad for today, but it had nothing to do with her. Go, Xing Ai's 3 brothers and sisters all died at the hands of Zhang Zizai. He couldn't bear it any longer. At this time, when they joined forces to besiege, he was always at the forefront. Don't you think it's over now that you're joining forces? Zhang Zizai raised his head in the darkness, and there was a ghostly smell around him. Around him, more than 30 dead souls were entangled around his body, crying and howling constantly. Every time they cried and howled, they provided Zhang Zizai with strength. He was already so strong that he even scared himself. They joined forces to kill him. No matter who you are, you have caused our Zikan realm to destroy so many geniuses. We in the Zikan realm will not let go of this blood feud. When the source symbol is successfully inherited and our elders come here, your entire world will pay the price for your insolence. Originally, our Zikan realm only wanted the source symbol and the origin pillar. Now, I guarantee that if you kill the elders of these geniuses, I will slaughter all the strong people in your entire world and avenge them. Your behavior will make everyone in your entire Qingyang realm be buried with you. I am not exaggerating. Do you think that there have been so many totem worlds that have been massacred in history? They were furious and cursed fiercely. Zhang Zizai smiled. You are invaders. You came here to control and enslave us, but now you tell me that I killed you and made a blood feud with you. Don't you think it's ridiculous? I don't have so many excuses. You can be more honest. This is a life and death battle. There is no need to restrain me with morality. Now, either I die or you all die here. They seem to have heard a big joke. No matter who you are wrong today. From now on, you will be the sinner of your entire Qingyang world for thousands of years, Tang Qingming shouted. I can be any sinner, I don't care, but you must die. Zhang Zizai's immortal magic power completely erupted, and his momentum surpassed everything. In front of him, Tang Qingming and the others were really nothing. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Feng Qingyang. Chapter 567. At this moment, Zhang Zizai felt that he was full of passion. He didn't want to be a hero, but at this moment, he was undoubtedly a hero. He could only say that this feeling was very refreshing. Even if this hero was obtained in a devilish way, so what? Cultivation is not just for a sense of pleasure and a clear mind. No matter what happened today, he had gone through this and let everyone see his will and determination, which was already no regrets. Only when there is no regret in life and death can one move forward courageously. If killing is for protection, then why not do it? He dared not say that he wanted to protect this world. It was difficult for him to have feelings for the whole world now. In fact, he just wanted to guard his great Xuanhuan city, which was his home. By the way, he also wanted the 2 girls to survive. It was not easy for them to live during this period. Zhang Zizai would not allow anyone to hurt them. Who would like to let others be high above him and control everything about him? No matter who gave the source symbol, he could not let others take it away. It was clearly a shameless invader. He deserved to die. Who could he blame? Zhang Zizai understood. Practice, you should be desperate and take revenge, this is the power in his heart. His heart is extremely turbulent, like an invincible demon, coupled with the endless dead souls of the Wuxianfu, his fighting will is unparalleled in the world. He didn't get entangled with everyone at all. He kept dodging and looking for opportunities to kill alone. No one knew who Zhang Zizai's next target would be. Until he appeared behind Xing Ai. Do you think you can kill me? Xing Ai held a purple longsword and swung the sword casually, and 3,000 sword chi burst out. Directly swallowed Zhang Zizai. What responded to him was Zhang Zizai's Tongtian stick. The 5 elements of the demon-suppressing stick were completely gathered together, and the black stick showed a particularly terrible aura of destruction. In addition, his swallowing field was always there. From the beginning, he was constantly getting stronger, while his enemies were constantly weakening. The lifeless magic of that stick is unprecedented. More than 30 dead souls, crying and wailing, provide power for this stick. Xing Yi is not only fighting with himself, but also with these more than 30 people. Brother, save me. Brother, wow, it's still scary. In the dead soul, Xin Yi suddenly saw those familiar voices. He was stunned. At that moment, he regretted coming here, competing later, and coveting the Wuxian Fu. But it was too late to regret. Because that stick had broken through his 3,000 sword energies and hit his forehead directly. Boom! Xin Yi knelt on the ground, his body was cracked, and his dead soul quickly merged into Zhang Zizai's body. The Wuxian Fu grew stronger again, and Zhang Zizai's strength had reached the extreme. Suxian, Tang Qingming, and Qing Kong came to kill him, but they didn't touch him again, because he was too fast. The 8-step soul chasing lightning allowed Zhang Zizai to play to the extreme. Xin Yi, Tang Qingming came to his side, only to see Xin Yi's eyes wide open, and fell to the ground with a snap. His eyes were full of regret. It was not until this time that Tang Qingming was frightened. Before this, he had always thought that Zhang Zizai was a prey. Everyone was hunting, but he didn't expect that he would let the trapped beast kill one by one, and the trapped beast became stronger and stronger. Until this time, he was shocked to find that it seemed that the beast could no longer be controlled. He thought that the prey that could be killed and eaten at will ate the hunters. It was really ironic. Tang Qingming trembled. He looked out in shock. Because he stopped temporarily, Suxian had been entangled by the black figure. You just got it with the Wuxian talisman. What face do you have to fight with me? I am 10,000 times more talented than you, Suxian said unwillingly. 10,000 times, so what? It's over, Zhang Zizai grinned. She wanted to kill herself. As a result, Zhang Zizai was one step faster. It seemed easy to swallow him with the majestic Wuxian magic. Suxian fell to the ground, motionless. She was considered a beauty, but now she was just a beauty with white bones. When her dead soul was howling on Zhang Zizai's body, there were only 3 geniuses left in the entire fusion shield. The rest were dead. The Zikan realm should not know what happened here, otherwise, the whole world would have been shocked. A tiny boy, relying on the Wuxian talisman, went on a killing spree and made every step carefully, and actually came to this point. You can reunite with your brother. Zhang Zizai appeared in front of Tang Qingming. Don't laugh too early. You will not die well. The revenge of our Zikan realm will make you and everyone behind you regret for the rest of your life, Tang Qingming roared. Bang! What the second level of Tianyuan realm? What you level totem, Tianming Qinglong totem? What the peerless genius of Zikan realm? Didn't he die with just one stick? Tang Qingming's dead soul added some color to Zhang Zizai's Wuxian talisman. And, endless Wuxian magic. There are 2 people left. Zhang Zizai turned around. He knew without even looking at him that Qing Kong had moved to another place. Now she was holding one person's neck with one hand, and the life and death of Shen Xiao and Ling Xian were in her hands. She licked her red lips and said, you should commit suicide, otherwise, you can only watch your women die one by one. If I commit suicide, the Wuxian talisman and the Wuxian talisman will be yours. Then if you kill them, you will have 4 divine talismans. It's a good plan. Zhang Zizai smiled. Do you have any objections? Qing Kong smiled. Aren't you afraid of death? Zhang Zizai asked her back. They are very important to you. With them in my hands, I won't die. Qing Kong smiled. Then are you afraid of becoming a dead soul? Like them. Zhang Zizai showed her the dead souls one by one. King Kong's face turned pale, but she still said, I'll give you 10 breaths to commit suicide, otherwise I'll kill one first, and then I'll give you another 10 breaths to kill the second one. Zhang Zizai smiled. Don't bother with that. You can kill them now. They're just women. Beauty is just bones. What's the use of death? You want to threaten me with them? You look down on me. Qing Kong was stunned. If I were such a sentimental person, do you think I would be so cruel today? Qing Kong, I'm sorry, you're dead. Zhang Zizai smiled and walked towards her step by step. Qing Kong was frightened. Her face was pale, and she stepped back with 2 hostages. Kill them. If you don't, I'll help you. Zhang Zizai was still smiling, but there were nearly 40 dead souls crying around him, including Tang Qingming and the others. This is your end. Zhang Zizai pinched Meng Suzu's dead soul and played with it in his hands. Qing Kong didn't expect that he was such a devil. She had never seen such a terrible person in her life. So at this time, her legs were shaking, especially when she saw Meng Suzu's miserable face. The trembling gradually spread throughout her body. Fear has deprived her of everything. Ah, Qing Kong threw away Shenxiao and Ling Xian, knelt on the ground miserably, and kept kowtowing to Zhang Zizai. Mercy, mercy, I don't want to die. Mercy, Qing Kong trembled, tears streaming down her face. Shenxiao and Ling Xian were safe. Okay, I'll spare you. For the sake of your totem, I'll keep your life, but you have to do something for me. Zhang Zizai stood in front of her, stretched out his hand to pinch her chin, and lifted her face. Qing Kong saw his eyes and trembled immediately. She used to be arrogant and ruthless, but now she has lost control of her bladder. You said, I will do it. After you go out, tell the people in your Zikan realm to send more geniuses in, because those who came in are already dead, not enough for me to kill. I want to try to see how far the Wuxian Fu can go, so please, you must be stronger than Lin Feng. Maybe it will be a challenge to me. Zhang Zizai smiled. Okay. I promise you, I will definitely say it. Qing Kong trembled even more. As for Lin Feng, you can say that he is dead, because it is his turn next. Do you want to watch me kill him before leaving, or leave now? Zhang Zizai said. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 568. I'm leaving now. This chance to survive can be said to be a ray of hope. She knew that if she stayed here, she might still get the divine talisman, but if she was unlucky, she would be dead. She was trembling, using all her strength, almost crawling to the gate of the domain, and went straight in. Send more strong men, come in and let him kill. Thinking of this sentence, she was already terrified. What kind of person is so arrogant, so domineering, and say such a thing? To be honest, even if they knew that Zhang Zizai had the lifeless talisman, what he showed outside the lifeless talisman at this moment made the strong men outside stand in awe. It is almost impossible for anyone to have the lifeless talisman, but to achieve this level inside. This time, Zhang Zizai only needs to pass this last difficulty, and he will be more terrible than anyone else. The Holy Dragon Emperor admired him sincerely. Xuanhuan Chushan's eyes were gloomy. In fact, she was afraid of death. She knew that if Zhang Zizai really died, she would be gone, and everything up to now was thrilling to her. She was glad that she didn't die. However, she was afraid because if he continued to grow like this, he would sooner or later bring trouble to herself. This was the most terrifying part of the 9 Immortals curse. Apart from her, Zhang Zizai had received all the praise. Even the Hades of the Hades Palace looked at each other and saw the bitter smile in each other's eyes. It was definitely not a coincidence that this young man could scare Qing Kong of Tianyuan realm to this extent. It was a kind of terror that exceeded his own strength. In people's hearts, he was completely different. Why did he let Qing Kong go? If he killed her, he would be stronger, and he would have to let Zikan realm send more people. The effect of the Wuxian talisman would not last that long, Hades asked doubtfully. This is a strategy to attack the heart, Beijing Hades said. What do you mean? The Purple Star Realm will be terrified. They have lost too many geniuses. Lin Feng is already the strongest among them. If Lin Feng can't leave alive, then they will send others to die. The more Zhang Zizai said this, the people of the Purple Star Realm would not dare to send anyone to die. They would rather wait for the result of Lin Feng. Now, they are trembling. I don't think anyone dares to take the risk. Letting go of this love space will scare those who still want to come in. Indeed, this is a psychological strategy. The more this happens, the more terrified the other party will be. It seems that even when killing like this, he can stay conscious. It's not easy looking at the young man with the soul of death. Many people don't know what to say. Now, they only hope that he can really beat Lin Feng, otherwise all the previous efforts will be in vain, and everything in the Qingyang realm will create this Lin Feng. Within the fusion shield, the final confrontation has begun. Hey, are you telling the truth? Beauty is just bones, so it doesn't matter if she dies. Shen Xiao recovered from the shock and stared at Zhang Zizai. I was wrong, I just scared her. You are still a pervert, you let people go just because they look good, Shen Xiao said with disdain. It's unfair. Don't dampen my fighting spirit before the decisive battle, Zhang Zizai said seriously. Shen Xiao knew that the most difficult hurdle of the day had not been passed yet. It doesn't matter, anyway, we will live together and die together from now on, Shen Xiao said. Just like a husband and wife, Zhang Zizai's eyes lit up. Divorce the 9 immortal priest, and then come and tease us, Shen Xiao said. Difficult. At this point, she had tears in her eyes. Fight, I don't want to die, Shen Xiao patted his chest gently. I don't want to die either, Ling Xian said. These two sentences were too important to him. Okay, he said only one word, and then appeared in front of Lin Feng. The other party protected himself with a shield and was still concentrating on studying the source symbol. For him, this was the most important thing. Zhang Zizai knocked on the shield. In the shield, Lin Feng frowned. He had just reached the key part and didn't want to be disturbed. Zhang Zizai knocked on the door again. Open your eyes and take a look, Zhang Zizai said. Finally, Lin Feng opened his eyes with an angry face and put away the source symbol at the same time. Then, he saw Zhang Zizai, who was already a dead man in his eyes. Next, he saw corpses all over the ground. Meng Suzhu, Tang Qingming, Suxian, Xin Yi, etc., all had pale faces and no sound. They all turned into dead souls, wandering around Zhang Zizai and crying. Lin Feng took a step back, his face was horrified. When he saw Zhang Zizai, he thought he saw a dead person. The dead are alive, and the living are dead. Lin Feng's eyes widened, and his whole body was trembling. Because you are dead, what you see is the opposite, Zhang Zizai said. How could I be dead? Lin Feng was still in shock. He was just concentrating a little. After all, the source talisman was too important. In order to avoid more trouble, he had to do this, so he gave the Divine Fire Talisman and the Blood Prison Talisman to his junior brothers and sisters. But now this grand occasion, how could it be so incredible? You have the Immortal Talisman. And the Immortal Talisman. You killed them. Lin Feng widened his eyes and looked at Zhang Zizai in disbelief, a person whose name he didn't even want to know. He asked Zhang Zizai's name before, and killed him halfway through. Are you surprised? Are you surprised? Zhang Zizai asked. Boom. Lin Feng broke the shield directly, and looked at Zhang Zizai with a livid face. My junior brother asked you to kill him. Where is Qing Kong? He didn't care much about the death of other people, but he had the responsibility to protect his junior brothers and sisters. Kill the men directly, and the women, anyway, he couldn't see King Kong's body, so let him guess. Lin Feng looked at him deeply. In this way, your life is really valuable. Congratulations, your worth has increased 10 million times overnight. When Lin Feng spoke, the third eye between his eyebrows gradually emerged. The universe-level totem, the totem of the Annihilation God's eye. A totem that looks no different from a real eye. Oh. Then after killing you, it can probably double. Zhang Zizai's disappeared lifeless magic power rose again at this time. When he showed all his power at this moment, even Lin Feng, who was at the 4th level of the Tianyuan realm, couldn't help but take a step back. The dragon demon transformed and covered his whole body again. Lin Feng finally realized how powerful he was, especially since there were nearly 40 dead souls on his body. The howling of those dead souls was a very terrible soul shock in itself, making it difficult for him to calm down, and he didn't dare to look into Zhang Zizai's eyes. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 569. It seems that almost all the divine symbols are on you. If I kill you, I can definitely enter the divine realm. Lin Feng's eyes became hot. So, you have to remember that it was not me who killed you, but greed. Zhang Zizai was completely shrouded in black fog. At this moment, the dead souls surrounded him, and the god of death descended again. The black stick returned to his hand again, and there was a 9-dragon seal on his left hand. He, this power does not belong to you. Isn't it easy to use? You are essentially a waste in the realm of divine seals. Lin Feng's central eye burst into golden light, and in an instant, his 3 eyes turned golden. Black and gold collided fiercely at this moment. The battle broke out. Golden destruction divine eye. When he just made a move, Lin Feng showed his terrible totem power. His 3 eyes suddenly pierced with golden light. Wherever the light went, it was completely destroyed. Even the black fog around him could be penetrated, and I'm afraid his body could be penetrated. And the speed of the light is very fast. Die! With a loud noise, a golden bell appeared beside him. The golden bell was very large and suspended in the air. Lin Feng punched it, and the divine power of the 4th level of Tianyuan realm burst out. The entire fusion shield was shaking, and the golden torrent rushed out, causing a fierce shock to Zhang Zizai. How do you feel? Trash, Lin Feng smiled. I can only say that it's very ordinary. Zhang Zizai moved like a ghost. The golden threads in Lin Feng's eyes could not touch him at all, and those golden ripples were all absorbed by the prosperous Wuxian talisman at this time. 1 man and 1 stick suddenly appeared above Lin Feng's head. At this moment, Zhang Zizai remembered that he easily cut off his arm and took his life in an instant. Counting it, he was more cruel than himself. Now, it's time for revenge. Before this moment, Zhang Zizai was increasing the Wuxian magic power. He kept getting stronger, but there was no real consumption. And at this moment, the time for the outbreak has finally arrived. Wuxian magic power can be burned. Once it is burned, it will be clean, and the effect of the lifeless talisman will pass. But the burning process is the most terrifying explosion process. It is equivalent to pouring all the power of these more than 40 people on Zhang Zizai's attack. The black 9-dragon seal directly suppressed it. Boom! Under the 9-dragon seal, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Lin Feng was shocked. He desperately knocked on the golden bell, shaking out a large number of golden ripples to block the 9-dragon seal. You kill me once, I kill you once, why struggle? Zhang Zizai concentrated all his anger on the next attack. I remember when he first came, his domineering attitude and his decisive attitude. At that time, Zhang Zizai was indeed as weak as an ant in front of him, and even within a few years, he would not be his opponent. But now, under the suppression of the 9-dragon seal, Lin Feng bent down. Next, it was Zhang Zizai's 5 elements demon subduing stick on the black stick. Boom boom boom. The power of each stick made Lin Feng tremble. In fact, Zhang Zizai's outburst was risky. As long as the power of the lifeless talisman was consumed, if Lin Feng held on, he would be the one to die. But so what? He now had only one will in his heart, and that was to kill him. I'll let you break my palm. I'll let you stab my heart, boom boom boom. The crazy stick smashed on his golden bell crazily. At this time, Lin Feng could only use the golden bell to protect himself, and the golden bell actually melted into his body. Under this violent bombardment, Lin Feng's whole body was shaking. He was struggling to hold on. As long as you consume the power of the lifeless talisman, it will be easy for me to kill you. Although he was aggrieved, he still had hope. Really? Zhang Zizai laughed coldly. The power of the lifeless talisman may be consumed, but is all this just because of the lifeless talisman? Lin Feng, you asked my name, but you killed me first, leaving me no chance to tell you. Now, I'll tell you, boom. The stick fell from the sky, and the 5 elements demon subduing sticks completely merged together. It fell on his head. Bang! He gathered all the dead souls on this stick, the golden bell broke, and Lin Feng's head cracked while he was dazed. The third eye was directly shattered. Boom! The 9 dragon seal pressed down, like a mountain pressing down on his head. Lin Feng was pressed to the ground in an instant, and only a broken head appeared outside. Zhang Zizai fell to the ground and looked down at him. His face was full of blood. He looked at Zhang Zizai with despair and roared heartbreakingly, "Impossible, you savage, how could you kill me? My name, Lin Feng, is well known in the Zikan realm. I am a person who can go to the God realm," he howled miserably. This was a last gasp. He had used up all his strength. Remember, Zhang Zizai stepped on his forehead, spit, and said, "My name is Zhang Zizai, a nobody, but I sent you to hell." Zhang. Lin Feng's eyeballs almost fell out. He struggled and used too much force. He suddenly died and died completely. It's over. Zhang Zizai took a deep breath. To be honest, he was a little tired. He collected everything, including the source talisman and all the treasures on these people. Nothing was wasted. Shen Xiao had already put all the corpses in a space jade pendant and dealt with them together. Including the arrogant Lin Feng. The effect of the lifeless talisman had passed, and now it dimmed again. Those dead souls were absorbed into it and would never come out. The light of the setting sun shone on the fusion talisman shield. 2 beauties came to his side gently. Zhang Zizai sat down softly, but they helped him up from the left and right. "Hero, it's not time to rest yet," Shen Xiao smiled. "Hurry up and inherit the source symbol. Before you control it, it is still very dangerous." "Now there is no lifeless symbol," Ling Xian said. "Don't be so nervous. I am so awesome. I will kill one by one." Zhang Zizai shook his head and smiled. After the fierce battle, his mood quickly returned to calm, but nothing today shook his will and determination. Right or wrong, God has his own destiny. He looked around and finally saw that the strong men outside actually looked at him with admiration. "Zhang Zizai, you control the source symbol. We originally had objections and planned to deprive you of your source symbol in the future. But now, I can say that it is natural for you to control the source symbol," the Holy Dragon Emperor said seriously. "In total, you saved our entire origin continent. You are a hero and should be treated as a hero," Bai Jin Mingshen said. Even the divine sect had nothing to say. Only Xuanhuan Chushan lowered his head with a gloomy face, because this time, the divine sect suffered the greatest loss. The life and death of the Sun Chushan was unknown. To inherit the source talisman, we still have to race against time. Although Zhang Zizai has a plan to attack the heart, he is also afraid of accidents. Even if Qing Kong returns, it will be very troublesome at this time. However, Zhang Zizai is sure. Once Lin Feng dies, no one in this world can stop him from now on. "If you succeed, what are your plans?" Shen Xiao's eyes are full of hope. If there is nothing else, I want to go to the well of the divine domain to explore the outside world and explore the opportunities and chances there, Zhang Zizai said. We want to go too, take us with you. Shen Xiao took his hand, with a coquettish tone. That won't work, unless you are willing to sleep with me, Zhang Zizai said with a smile. You wish, anyway, we have already relied on you. Shen Xiao really wants to explore the vast world, this is her personality. It seems that you can't refuse. But think about it, if they follow, it is indeed a good thing. After all, it is so boring for a man to wander around. Of course, it is not certain whether he can inherit the source symbol now. Zhang Zizai took out the source symbol and fell into deep thought. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 570. In the tense mood of the crowd, Zhang Zizai took out the source symbol again. The last time he inherited the source symbol, his hand was cut off. However, the part that connected him to the source symbol did not disappear, so this time he did not start over, but continued the previous process, which could at least shorten the time by 5 or 6 days. In fact, our crisis has not been exposed. Although the strongest genius in the Zikan realm is dead, Zhang Zizai actually relies on the Wuxian talisman to have the strength to fight them. They must have a genius of the Tianyuan realm at the level of Tang Qingming. If one more comes in, the three of them will still fail. So, now it depends on whether Zhang Zizai's psychological attack plan can succeed. It also depends on how much time he needs to inherit the source symbol himself. Everyone looked at the domain gate nervously, their eyes were worried and nervous. The fate of the two totem worlds would be completely changed because of this domain gate. Day by day, these days are simply a nightmare. Even the Holy Dragon Emperor is worried, let alone others. They were paying attention to the gate of the domain, and also to Zhang Zizai's progress. Now he was covered with a white light, and white totem patterns were wandering on his body, covering every corner of his body, like a snow-white tattoo. When these snow-white tattoos were all over his body, and the source symbol disappeared completely on his palm, it finally showed that he had completely mastered the source symbol. The most obvious feature was that the fusion symbol shield was gradually disappearing. The disappearance of the fusion symbol shield meant that the strong were no longer just standing by and watching, which meant that the crisis of the origin continent had been completely resolved from then on. The old symbol master hurried to Zhang Zizai's side. The source symbol was such a precious thing that even if Zhang Zizai turned the tide and became a hero who saved the world, there was no guarantee that someone would not mess around. The white light on Zhang Zizai's body gradually disappeared. He could no longer feel the existence of the source symbol, but he could feel that he had control over the gate of the domain. The key was in his hand. He could open the gate of the domain completely, and he could also close it completely. The gate of the realm is divided into two parts, entry and exit. On the exit side, there are passages leading to the 3 layers of the well of the divine realm, which are currently open. On the entry side, there are passages leading to the 3 layers of the well of the divine realm, but currently only the first layer is open. People under the age of 20 can freely enter and exit the well of the divine realm. But people over the age of 20 can only leave, not enter. This means that if the Holy Dragon Emperor and his men want to go to the well of the divine realm, they need to be prepared to not be able to come back after they go out, because once the passages leading to the 2nd and 3rd layers of the well of the divine realm are opened, the strong men of the purple star realm will come directly. Moreover, after they go out, Zhang Zizai will not be able to contact them, and who knows when they will come back, so for now, it is unrealistic for people over the age of 20 to enter the well of the divine realm. How can you control this door? Everyone surrounded them and asked. Zhang Zizai nodded. The passages from the 2nd and 3rd floors must not be opened. The strong men from the purple star realm are all eyeing them. We must not let them in. Zhang Zizai, you are now shouldering this important task. Don't joke around. The Holy Dragon Emperor did not intend to fight for the Source Talisman, but said it very seriously. They were a little conflicted. After all, Zhang Zizai was a young man and did not have enough strength to keep the Source Talisman. And they were also worried about his impulsiveness. But if it weren't for him, the whole world would have been in deep disaster now. Because of his contribution, it was difficult for the strong men to lose face and deal with him, and the forces of all parties checked and balanced each other, so there was no one fighting for the Source Talisman now. After all, the Source Talisman was not only a key, but also a god-level totem, the first treasure of heaven and earth. Don't worry, elders. Since I have the Source Talisman, I will never play with it. I will never open the passages to the second and third levels of the Well of the Divine Realm. If any elder wants to enter the Well of the Divine Realm, they must be prepared to not be able to return, especially in recent times. They must be prepared to be besieged by the strong men of the Purple Star Realm after they go out. Zhang Zizai explained his attitude concisely and clearly. The Divine Sect, the Underworld Palace, and the Holy Dynasty also recognized Zhang Zizai's approach. This is for the sake of safety. Zhang Zizai, we also remember your great contributions, so we let you keep the lifeblood of this entire world temporarily. You have a great responsibility, so you must be careful and don't joke with all living beings. The Source Talisman carries the hope of our entire world. Unless there are special circumstances, no world will let young people hold the Source Talisman. Bai Jin Mingshen said. Not only the Source Talisman, but in fact, the other 6 divine talismans will not fall into the hands of young people to prevent them from being lost. Your concerns are indeed justified. I will definitely keep them in mind. Zhang Zizai had to make more assurances, otherwise these old guys would forget their principles and besiege him, and the Life and Death Talisman sect would not be able to keep the Source Talisman. After all, there is no fusion talisman shield now. They can control their selfish desires, which is enough to give themselves face. Everyone wants to become a god, and letting Zhang Zizai hold such a treasure is indeed a great kindness. And there are definitely people who are thinking about how to snatch the Source Talisman. Now even outside the first level of the God's Domain Well, it is estimated that many geniuses from the Purple Star Realm have gathered, and I am afraid that there are many people with the strength of the Heavenly Source Realm. You don't have to rush to go, the Holy Dragon Emperor warned. I am really not in a hurry. After all, I have to go back and recuperate for a while. When I want to explore the way to the God's Domain Well in the future, I will inform all the seniors. After all, this is not just his business, but a big thing. He can only say this. The God's Domain Well must be visited, and it starts from the first level of the God's Domain Well. Before the young people set off, someone must explore the way first, and this person is naturally Zhang Zizai. After they agreed, Zhang Zizai prepared to close all the entrances and exits of the 3-layer God's Domain Well. People outside could not enter, and people inside could not leave without his permission. The strong men from all sides also agreed to this decision. Before you decide to enter the God's Domain Well to explore the way, you must notify us, said the Holy Dragon Emperor. Zhang Zizai once again assured the big men from all sides that he would never do it randomly. In fact, it's better for you not to go to the God's Domain Well. If you are killed and the source symbol falls outside and is taken by others, it will be a crisis for us again, said the Dark Knight God. This is actually what they are worried about. Therefore, they may still need to discuss the matter of letting Zhang Zizai hold such an important thing as the source symbol. However, Zhang Zizai did not expect that before he was about to close the domain gate, he actually found that someone actually came in through the domain gate at this time. That person is Tengui.